Royal Caribbean is building a new Perfect Day, and this one is going to be in Mexico. And from what I can see from the new plans, I am so excited for this to finally open. Perfect Day Mexico is going to be double the size of Perfect Day at Coco Cay, and when it's open in September of 2027, I think it's going to really change how we look at where we want to go on a Caribbean cruise. Royal Caribbean revealed its new plans for Perfect Day Mexico. We talked about it in a recent video, kind of giving you an overview, but today I really want to dive into everything Perfect Day Mexico has, because I think it's going to be a game changer. Perfect Day Mexico is going to have a capacity of somewhere between 20,000 guests or so, give or take, plus or minus. Now, that's a lot more considering that Perfect Day at Coco Cay is somewhere around 9 to 12,000 people. But of course, Perfect Day in Mexico is going to be significantly larger, and they've got a lot of ideas that's coming down there. So let's take a look at what's coming to Perfect Day Mexico. And the water park is a great place to start because the water park is a perfect example of that. Royal Caribbean has taken all the things they loved about Perfect Day Coco Cay and amplified them here with Perfect Day Mexico. So the water park is going to be a much bigger version, a much more expanded version of the water park that we found at Coco Cay. There are way more slides. They're way taller. In fact, you're going to have the tallest water slides in all of North America here at Loco Waterpark. There's going to be a fire-breathing Jaguar tower that's going to rise more than 170 feet. I think the tower actually stops at 170, but the head itself and the flames go up to like 200 feet. It's incredible. Jaguar Peak is going to have 10 slides total, including the park's tallest family raft slides designed to handle 4 to 6 riders at once. There will also be 2 dueling slides and the longest coaster water slide in the world. It's worth noting, by the way, there'll be way more raft slides at Perfect Day Mexico because raft slides are what guests want. Royal Caribbean discovered that while body slides are fun, people just enjoy raft slides more, even though there's more of a wait for them. It's just the highest demand for them. So Royal Caribbean is adding way more of that. They're also going to have another slide tower, which is going to be the world's first sombrero slide. Now, really, this is the toilet bowl slide that probably most people call it, but it'll be looking like a sombrero, which is the national hat of Mexico, and it'll be kind of a fun take on it and offer a helix twist as you climb up the wall and then slide back. Another type of slide is really for anybody who's got a lot of guts because they're going to have hydro launch slides where you basically are launched off the end of the slide into the air and then land in the water. Royal Caribbean's actually adding a swim up bar so you can watch the people go up in the air and rate their landings and enjoy a drink if you're not brave enough to actually go on one of those slides. There will also be a resort pool with calm water, a wave pool, and an adventure pool similar to what we found at Perfect Day at Coco Cay. Now, we're going to move over to the next area, which of course is Splash Cove. And Splash Cove is home to probably the thing everybody's going to be talking about, which is the world's longest lazy river. And that lazy river is included in your cruise fare. So Royal Caribbean had feedback for a long, long time. People wanted a lazy river at Perfect Day Coco Cay, but there's simply not enough room for it. But Perfect Day Mexico will absolutely have it. In fact, Royal Caribbean thinks it's going to take anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour to do one loop around the lazy river. Now, of course, with that kind of a length, you might want to break it up a little bit. And so Royal Caribbean came up with the idea of having bars along the way. So there'll be at least 4 of these stops where basically you can pull over to the side in your tube, latch your tube to the bar, have a drink, and then delatch and go back onto the lazy river. Or better yet, just hang out at the bar the whole time. It's totally up to you. Interestingly, Royal Caribbean is also going to have an optional Crazy River section that has really rapids for thrill seekers. So Lazy River, you're kind of sitting there doing your own thing, but they have this idea where you'll reach a point in the river where you have a choice of continuing on the Lazy River or going for that Crazy River. They're not so sure exactly what it's going to be yet, but there's going to be rapids and ways to make it a little more interesting and fun. Of course, when you enter Perfect Day Mexico, you'll be entering Fiesta Plaza, and this is the main area as you walk in. And you're going to notice very quickly the world's largest sombrero. This is a structure that stands more than 65 feet high, and it'll be housing the Tipsy Sombrero Bar. As you move past the Tipsy Sombrero, there's a large river, and Royal Caribbean really wanted to make this kind of open up a little bit. You are in Mexico. It's not supposed to be all just a concrete jungle. So they want you to feel like you're in really Mexico. So there's a river there. In fact, you can take a boat ride down one of the river. They'll ferry you to different parts of the park. You can walk, you can take a tram. These are all options for you. we've highlighted the water park, we've highlighted the lazy river, but of course, a lot of people are saying, Matt, I really just want to go to the beach. We're in Mexico after all, and not to worry, there's plenty of that. You're going to have Chill Beach. There's a north and a south part of Chill Beach, and this is nearly 2 miles in length. Royal Caribbean has not only purchased the port of Costa Maya, but land surrounding the port so that you can provide some of the biggest beach space possible, and you're going to find so many places that you can go and enjoy your time at the beach. Each of the beaches will have free loungers, towels, and umbrellas, and there'll be counter service restaurants, bars, and of course, public bathrooms. Royal Caribbean says in total there will be 12 dining options serving regionally inspired food, and they're really going to have a mix of both, Mexican fare and traditional American classics. So that way your kids can still enjoy whatever they want to get while you can enjoy some interesting Mexican food. I was actually talking to Royal Caribbean's head of food and beverage, Lincoln D'Souza, and he really wants to lean into some of these more authentic takes. Don't worry, there'll still be like quesadillas and, tacos there, but it's not going to be certainly Taco Bell menu by any means. This is going to have an opportunity to have a good blend of both familiar and new. If you're looking for a premium experience, well, then you might want to purchase a pass to the Costa Beach Club. The Costa Beach Club is going to be very similar to the Coco Beach Club at Perfect Day at Coco Key, and this is going to be at the far north end of the property, and there will be a cost to get in here, just like the Beach Club at Coco. But the Costa Beach Club, it basically has a giant heated infinity pool, as well as a bar. There'll be premium dining options over here, like a sit-down restaurant, and of course, cabanas that you can rent. Really, what's interesting about this area is that it is for folks who really want to have a more secluded, elevated day. They're going to have actually cabanas that feature their own private bathrooms, semi-private plunge pools, TVs, and loungers for sun and shade. It's really incredible the amount of luxury that you can have if that's your thing. Now, Costa Beach Club is available to all guests, including kids, just like the Coco Beach Club. And I love this idea of expanding what has really been one of the most popular features at Perfect Day at Coco Key. But if you heard kids and said, I don't want to do that, how about El Hideaway, which is the adults-only area? So if you're looking for adults-only fun, Royal Caribbean is going to be expanding its Hideaway area that it first introduced at Perfect Day at Coco Key over to El Hideaway here at Perfect Day Mexico. There is an additional cost. You need to be at least 18 years old in order to enter El Hideaway. But this is going to be massive, up to 1,800 guests. It's actually going to have a 50,000 square foot pool. To put this in comparison, the Hideaway pool at Coco Key is only 17,000 square feet. What this extra space allows them to do is actually zone the pool into distinctive areas. That way you can have both a party and chill area. Royal Caribbean's actually working with the idea of having the world's largest tequila bottle as part of the feature here, so we'll have to wait and see on that. One interesting area of El Hideaway is they're going to have a zero-entry toes in sand experience, complete with a bar and live music stage. The center of the pool will be where it's loudest with a DJ and a large swim-up bar. And another interesting idea for El Hideaway is it's going to have the ultimate party cabana, which is designed for groups to rent so they can hang out together, up to 20 people, in fact. And you're actually going to have your own, get this, pool, bathroom, bar, and bartender. It's situated so those who rent it can take a bridge over the main pool if they like. It seems like a really interesting idea, basically for folks that want to have a party. Imagine you're celebrating, someone's getting married, a special celebration, a birthday, friends together, hanging out with Lance, whatever the occasion might be. This is your opportunity to have like an over-the-top party. And the cabanas up until now really maxed out, at 6 or 8 people. So it really didn't give you that opportunity if you had a larger group. Now, we touched on Splash Cove as it relates to the lazy river, but there's a lot more that goes into it. Splash Cove encompasses 30 acres, and Splash Cove will be able to accommodate up to 5,400 people. And by the way, Splash Cove is included in your cruise fare. There's going to have the pool here, so we're going to call this basically the Oasis Lagoon equivalent, and it's going to be able to encompass 100,000 square feet, which is 3 times bigger than the pool at Perfect Day at Coco Key. This will also have the largest Splashaway Bay water playground anywhere in Royal Caribbean's portfolio, and that adds a lot more choices. They're also going to have a bubble up experience. I asked Royal Caribbean what this means exactly, and essentially it's an inflatable structure that fills with water jets, allowing children to climb and play. Evidently it's a big kid thing, but they also want to add a lot more seating to Splashaway Bay, because what they discovered is that parents want to be there and obviously supervise, but there just wasn't a lot of seating at Coco Key, so you'll find way more seating here at Perfect Day Mexico. Another really cool cabana that Royal Caribbean's working on over here is another 20-person cabana for big groups called Celebration Cove. And this cabana is aimed at being the perfect place for large families to enjoy the destination together. The Splash Cove area will also feature, if that's not enough by the way, up of and away helium balloon, which of course has an extra cost in order to go up there. Royal Caribbean says you'll be able to start booking itineraries for this beginning in the fall because, of course, this doesn't open until 2027, and a lot of those cruises are not available to book yet. But what I love about Perfect Day Mexico is that it's everything that we loved about Perfect Day at Coco Key, expanded, plussed up, and even some new ideas. I love that they're dreaming bigger, and there are things here, the core experiences you love at Coco Key are still there. And quite frankly, having experienced the previews of what they've got in mind and seen some of the layouts and the plans, it's incredible to me just the scale of what they're planning here. And really, when it comes to these kind of ideas, in my experience, a lot of times it's on paper, it's hard to wrap your mind around, but then when you see it in person, it becomes just this like, oh yeah. And I got to tell you, I am super excited to try these new areas out. I think Splash Cove is going to be the runaway hit with it. Not only is it included in your cruise fare, but the lazy river alone is going to make it the hot ticket. But don't overlook things like Costa Beach Club, because it's always a fun time when I'm at Coco Key there, but also Chill Beach, which is enormous. And the fact that there's going to have so much space there is really going to be a boon for it. It also bears reminding, by the way, you don't have to actually go to Perfect Day Mexico. What I mean by that is, unlike Coco Key, which is an island, here you're in Mahahual, Mexico. So if you'd rather go to other places in the area, there will be options for you. Royal Caribbean will still sell shore excursions. There will be buses and options for you to go into town on your own and do your own thing. While Royal Caribbean is developing it here, there are ways to get out there. So as an example, one of my favorite places to go is, of course, Maya Chan. And if you'd like to do your own excursion or tour some of the Mayan ruins, there's a variety of other activities that's out there. You don't have to go here. And it's kind of nice because I think for a lot of folks, maybe they want to go check it out in the beginning and then branch out here and there. As someone who's been to Perfect Day at Coco Key like 50 times, I'm totally okay with once in a while mixing it up and doing something different. So that will still be an option there. And yes, other cruise lines will still dock at Costa Maya. They just won't be able to go into Perfect Day. That is only for Royal Caribbean guests. All right, it's time to let me know now in the comments. What are you most excited for? Where will you go first at Perfect Day Mexico? Let me know in the comments below. While you're down there, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications. That way, YouTube lets you know of a brand new video to share. This has been Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, and we'll talk again real soon.